Take the first step towards online privacy. Get NordVPN.
The Keystone Wallet is the wallet that you want to be using to keep your crypto safe. Whether you are a Bitcoin maxi or an altcoin lover, it is perfect for you. Easy to use, 3 secure elements, and integrates easily with MetaMask, Kepler, and dozens of other extension wallets. Get one now to keep your crypto safe and secure. Go to bit.ly/CryptoRichKeystone. I'm joined once again by Alex Krainer. Alex, we did a video very recently, well, maybe about half an hour ago, right, on your service, your trend following service, all about, you invented this algorithm, which you've been using for many years successfully. And what this algorithm does is it follows trends. And you put out a daily newsletter. Your algorithm follows something like 200 different indices, including some commodities and major indices like the FTSE and everything, and just gives buys and sell signals that people then use who are subscribers to your newsletter.
Correct.
Yes, and you follow the trends. So price moves up over time, and that's what your algorithm works out. Yeah? Okay. But you don't do Bitcoin. Which means you don't do Bitcoin. You do gold, you do silver, you do oil, you do the FTSE and the Dow Jones, and you don't do Bitcoin. You are a Luddite, Alex.
I'm sorry. Yeah, it's true. But it's like this. I was in let's say that in the company where I last worked, they launched a crypto fund, a Bitcoin fund, in 2013. Yeah. And so this is the first time I came into contact with the idea. People started talking about it in the office, and I was like, what is this thing? And I kind of read up and I talked to other people, and I was like, oh, that's very interesting. But as a trend follower, I was like, show me the chart. And I was looking at the chart of Bitcoin, and I thought, this is just going down. This is nothing. I'm not investing in this. And then, they sat on that thing, and it was very funny because a Bitcoin fund at that time was very unusual in the hedge fund industry. And people were telling us, what the hell are you guys doing? You're going to ruin your reputation. What Bitcoin? What is this? This is some kind of a fraud. Like, this is nothing, and they just didn't get it. And so time went by, and the fund wasn't very successful at all. But we sat on it because the owner and the founder of this fund, they were very, very convinced that this is the future and this is going to go and this is going to fly. So it sat there, and then around 2016, every so often they would ask me like, hey, check out the chart, tell us what you think. I was like, no, it's going down, and it was going down. It was just going down slowly. And then around 2016, 2017, I was noticing that the price trajectory kind of suddenly changed direction, and it was starting to build up like it was going to go into an uptrend. And at that time, it was trading between $400 and $500 a Bitcoin. And I thought, okay, I think this is getting interesting. And I decided to make an investment into that fund. Except, of course, I was married at the time, so I had to get, the missus to agree. And we were unfortunately in the process of divorce at that time. And so it was going to be very complicated. I couldn't even, I just told her, I think I want to put some money into this Bitcoin thing. It didn't go over well. And I was like, okay, never mind, forget it. I'm not going to do it. It's just going to complicate things. And so I let that one go, and I didn't know what was going to happen. I was going to invest with the idea I want to diversify because I was very convinced that we were going into an inflationary time, that things are very uncertain, the value of assets, who knows. And so I thought I'll put a little bit of money in gold, silver, land, and hey, why not this Bitcoin thing? I thought it might go up 10 times or it might go to zero. So I'll put in the money that I'm prepared to lose. Well, and then came 2018, and the thing just took off like a rocket, and it went.
2017 it took off, and then it peaked in December 2017.
Oh, is that right?
Their market
it was
came.
December 2000. Okay, yeah. So it took off in 2017, and it went to $19,000.
Yeah, just under $20,000. Yep.
So that would have been completely insane because I was going to jump in at around $500.
Yep.
So, like you don't come across investments like this. And so I had to make peace with that. That's just one of the boats that I missed in my life. And there's no point crying over spilled milk. But where I could get excited about Bitcoin at $500, it's hard for me to get excited about Bitcoin at $65,000, which is where it is now. So I think that Bitcoin is a phenomenal invention. I think that blockchain is a very important technological innovation that holds promise to really transform the economy of human societies to, how do you call it? Disintermediate the banks to make transactions way cheaper, way more flexible. It's going to be a very strong enabling technology. But unfortunately, I think that today most people just look at it as an object of speculation. They're not looking at Bitcoin as something they can earn and then spend on rent and dinners and groceries. They just want to make a lot of money off of it.
Yes.
And so in that sense, I could be interested in Bitcoin at some price, but not at $65,000 because, even though I think like, okay, so if it's at $65,000, it might conceivably double, it might triple. I don't kind of expect that it could go up 10 times from where it is.
Right.
But at the same time, when I look at the whole universe of things that might double or triple, I see platinum, I see palladium, I see silver, I see a lot of things. So, that's why I'm not at this time a big Bitcoin enthusiast. I mean, I'm
Well, my mission here is to convert you. That's my game. Or
But at $65,000?
yeah. No, first,
Right. Okay, I'm listening.
first,
I'm all
I'm going to
ears.
give you a non-scientific, non-hedge fund idea, right? Answer. But perhaps you might know, was it millionaires don't use astrologers, but billionaires do? I don't know if you've ever heard that.
No, I haven't.
So let me tell you something personal, right? So a couple of months ago, my wife has opened up a health unit, and in this center there's an astrologer. So she goes to the astrologer for a reading, gives the astrologer the date of birth and time of birth and everything, and then she comes back and tells me, and I'm like, bloody hell, how did she know that? Including, Alex, she told my wife about our firstborn that died over 20 years ago. She said it's in the charts. How could she know? She told her other stuff about my wife's life that she couldn't have known, but she said it's in the charts. She did Vedic astrology. Then I contacted her via WhatsApp, without identifying myself, without saying I'm her husband, right? I had a reading, and in the first couple of minutes, she said to me, "Oh, are you so and so's husband?" I said, "Yes." She goes, "Because your charts match, and also your son, who died, is in your charts." How
Oh
does
my
she know?
God.
And then she said to me, she told me other stuff about me. She goes, "Oh, there's a lot of opposition in your life." I said, "What do you mean?" She goes, "Well, you hold a lot of points of view and positions that people around you don't agree with." So with regards to a certain medical intervention, right? I got into Bitcoin in 2013, and my family, I have a whole bunch of cousins who are bankers. What are you doing? What are you doing? What is this? Right? Or home education, the first one in my community to not send their kids to school, and all my family have degrees, and my brother's a professor, and my grandfather was a professor, right?
Yeah,
So
that's a
that
lot of opposing views.
yeah, I'm a Punjabi that doesn't eat naan, right? Or rice because I'm high fat, low carb for 10, 12 years,
Right.
right? What are you doing? What do you mean you're not eat? I was even vegetarian in Pakistan. You try being a vegetarian in Pakistan. Okay? Have you become a Hindu? So she said you have all these opposing views, but you're not bothered by other people's opposition. And then they come round because they see that it works out. And then the other thing, I asked her, I said, "What do I do for a living?" She goes, "You remove children who are in situations of trauma." She didn't know anything about me. So I was like, okay. All right, the Vedic astrology is Indian astrology. It's thousands of years old. Maybe there's something in this. I can't explain it. So then I said to her, "Do you know about Bitcoin?" She goes, "I don't have it. I want some. I don't know how it works. Don't understand it." And I said, "Well, let's do a video where I'll give you the dates and the time when Bitcoin was launched, and you tell me about it." She goes, "Okay." So she knows nothing about Bitcoin, nothing. And she did the chart of Bitcoin, and it's a video that I posted on my channel, and it was uncannily accurate what she was saying about it. That's in the chart. She goes, "It's for the people, it's for the good, it's growing alongside other assets." And I mean, she had difficulty getting onto Zoom. It's like, never mind having a Bitcoin wallet and send and receive, right? So anyway, so I'm going to link to that in the description below, and I'll send that to you because I do
Okay.
recommend it, and perhaps you might want to have a reading yourself with her, right? But anyway, here's the deal about Bitcoin. Bitcoin has all the qualities of money, not currency, money. You get that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And for people who don't know, it's fungible, which means one Bitcoin. I mean, it's not completely fungible because it's not a privacy coin. You have the whole blockchain and all the transactions that happened before. But it's pretty much, for all intents and purposes, it's fungible. So one Bitcoin is the same as any other Bitcoin. It's divisible, it's portable, it's durable, it's a store of value, and it can be used as a value as a exchange. Right? Is there anything?
Right.
Oh, and it's scarce,
Right.
unlike fiat currency. It's scarcer than gold and silver. Gold increases 2% a year. The gold supply increases due to mining. Bitcoin is deflationary. There'll only ever be 21 million. Now, do you know about the halving? Do you know about halvings?
Yes, but no. I
Yes, but
mean,
no. Okay, you've heard it, right? So
yeah, I heard it. Yeah,
you've
exactly.
heard it, right? So January 2009 was when Bitcoin was launched.
Yeah.
Every 10 minutes, 50 Bitcoin are created.
Okay.
And then in 2012 was the first halving. I'm not sure when, maybe spring sometime. And then from then, every 10 minutes, 25 Bitcoin are launched.
Uh-huh.
And then there was a halving in 2016. Every 10 minutes, 12 and a half Bitcoin are launched. So every 4 years, these halvings are programmed in, they're hardwired. So in 2020, it was six and a quarter Bitcoin. And in 2024, it's now down to three and an eighth Bitcoin every 10 minutes. And that cannot be changed.
Okay.
So now alongside that, you've got increasing demand, increasing infrastructure, increasing interest. You've now got institutional investors moving in, like your favorite and mine, BlackRock, set against also increasing currency printing, increasing currency supply. I don't want to say money because pound and the dollar and the euro is not money, right? But more
Yeah.
and more printing by governments.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. And what Bitcoin has, unlike gold and silver, is that it's way more accessible. I can send you a few $100 or $1,000 or $65,000 in a matter of minutes, and it would cost me pennies. I can't send you gold, can't send you silver. So it has that advantage, and you can buy a tiny portion of it because it's divisible up to 8 decimal points. Now back
Right.
to the halving. The next halving is going to be in 2028, where every 10 minutes it's going to be half of three and an eighth, and then 2032 and so on. And the last Bitcoin isn't going to be produced until 2140.
2140.
2140. So it's the hardest money there is because it can't be increased, unlike gold or silver. After 35 years, the gold supply would have doubled to what it is now.
Right.
And then silver increases even more, but silver's a bit different because they keep destroying it because it's used up. So now, the other thing that the halving does is it gives you a trend, a predictable trend. So let me show you something. I'm not sure if this might be this is a logarithmic price chart.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Sure.
these are the halvings, and they're predictable. This price chart goes back to April 2013.
Okay.
Right now, there was a halving in April in 2012. Here's the pattern that Bitcoin has shown. You have the halving, and then a year and a half later, you have an all-time high,
Okay.
and then you have a year downtrend, and then it bottoms out. and then you have 2 years of slow uptrend.
Okay.
And then in anticipation of the halving, it picks up. So you have a predictable cycle caused by the scarcity that's tied into the code. So it's pretty much, put even crudely, it's 3 years up, with the last year really crazily up, and then
Yeah.
1 year down, which hopefully you can see on the
Yeah.
horizontal chart. There's 1 year down, slowly going up, peak, 1 year down, slowly going up, peak. I mean, here we had COVID. That was an interesting year period. So, how does that grab you? What do you see in that?
Well, it's obviously an uptrend, and it's a very strong uptrend. But the problem with Bitcoin is that it's a very different trend than any other asset that I
Yes.
look at. And the reason is this, it does like so you can't see this on this logarithmic chart, but basically what it does is it has, like, as you said, like it goes into a hockey stick chart,
Mm-hmm.
goes practically vertical,
Mm-hmm.
peaks, and then it spends a long time just going down slowly.
No, it crashes in a year. That's what it's
Yeah,
done. It goes
yeah,
down in
yeah.
about a year. So then you short it for that year.
Yeah. And then it goes into another hockey stick.
Well, it goes up slowly for 2 years, and then the last year.
Yeah. And so that is actually quite a difficult thing for a trend following autopilot for a system like mine.
But you do short cycles and long cycles.
Yeah. But you see, these types of chart, like we're looking at now,
Mm-hmm.
is so how do I create trading strategies? I usually run. It's kind of like a guided machine learning process
Mm-hmm.
where I test a lot of different combinations of parameters over the whole 35 years of data that I have.
Mm-hmm.
And then that will, at the end, it'll winnow out a good combinations that kind of behave reasonably in all market environments, meaning when the market is trending, it has to make money. When the markets are not trending, the losses have to be acceptable. They have to be reasonable.
Yes.
But you see, when you have a whole series of these hockey stick charts, practically any stupid strategy that will put you long into that thing is going to look like a winner.
Yeah.
So these hockey stick events act kind of like a center of gravity that will attract a lot of seemingly good trading strategies, but you can't really tell because all you had to do is go long at some point, and then you make this massive money. And so when I tried to develop a trading strategy for Bitcoin, I got a lot of good trading strategies.
Mm-hmm.
But Bitcoin will eventually become, maybe it already has, just another thing that fluctuates. It's not going to be doing this hockey sticks thing forever. It's like it was doing this when the participation was sparse.
Mm-hmm.
As you get more and more participants in the markets, it becomes more. It changes the behavior, the collective behavior of traders and investors, because you're getting more and more of different types. Like you have people who are just sitting on their Bitcoin and don't even look at it. You have day traders. You have hedge funds. You have small speculators. You have all kinds of everything, and all those people make their trading decisions for different reasons with different time frames, and then eventually over time the Bitcoin will start behaving like all the other markets.
Yeah.
It's not going to be doing this anymore, and I think that it's only when Bitcoin matures in this way that I will be able to have high conviction strategies for Bitcoin. At the moment, I have a set of strategies for Bitcoin, and let's say that I believe that they're still better than shooting off your hip because, like every time Bitcoin collapses, every time the price crashes, you have hundreds of thousands of trading accounts that get liquidated.
Yeah.
So people get killed. And if you have a strategy, it's better than not having a strategy, even if they're not yet what I would call a high conviction strategy, something that I really feel like I can trust and depend on. So when I look at Bitcoin now, I see that it's trading at $65,000, a little bit over that.
Yeah.
I see that it's very, very close to all-time highs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I see that it's a downward sloping consolidation range.
This is a bull flag.
Exactly. So if I
Bullish.
were going to trade this curve,
Yeah.
I would draw the two parallel lines, that flag,
Yeah.
and I would only consider buying Bitcoin at the bottom of that flagging pattern.
Yeah.
That means it would have to be low 50s, high 40s. Price would have to go down to maybe $50,000, $48,000, something like this. And then I would say like, okay, I take a risk here. I put a stop in at like, I don't know, $46,000. And if it goes up, great. If it goes down, I lose 2,000 and that's that. But where it could go up from here, I don't know because we didn't get that 2 years of downward
Data. But
drift.
here's what has happened with Bitcoin, and most of my holdings are in Bitcoin, and then there's a little bit I play with riskier alts, including Alex. You'll be thrilled to know this, and you should definitely put all your money in these coins, the ones that have a dog's face on them. Those are the most valuable cryptocurrencies of all. Cat and dog meme coins. I made a lot of money from one with a frog on it, Pepe coin. I should show
They
you.
don't have any with elephants on them?
No, perhaps you could start one.
I have a business idea.
That's right. Launch your own meme coin, right? So I bought my first Bitcoin in January 2013. I made the mistake of not buying enough. Right?
Well, yeah, that's always the thing,
It's
When
always
it
the
goes
mistake.
well, you're always like, shit, I should have bought more.
Yeah. I should have bought a whole lot more. I should have sold the wife and the children and the underwear at that time. I'd only known, right?
And
then
King
it shot up.
George's socks.
That's right. It shot up to about $1,200,
Right.
which from $15 was just a phenomenal return.
Yeah.
Less than a year, right?
Yeah.
And then it crashed down to I think about a low about $250.
Right.
And I just sat on it. But the next peak after the following halving was just under $20,000.
Yeah.
But when you span out, that's just a little blip.
Yep. Correct.
Now, this looks massive. But then when you look at this one, the 69,000 in 2021, that's just a little bump. What's predictable with the increasing scarcity, like the less and less coming online and the increasing interest and all the money printing that's going on, and people are looking for something that is a disintermediates the banks with CBDCs coming and is accessible in a way that gold and silver aren't.
Yeah.
And it's portable because you can just memorize the seed phrase and cross borders.
Can you memorize the seed phrase?
Yeah. So Bitcoin is kept, you keep it in wallets, right?
Yeah.
And one way is you have a 12-word seed phrase, a 12-word password, or a 24-word password. It's possible to memorize that or to store it in such a way that nobody has access to it and cross borders in a way that you can't do that with gold and silver. So it has that advantage in an increasing authoritarian world, right? So now.
Are you talking about China and Russia?
I'm talking about Britain.
Well, come on. It's the free world.
That's right. The home of
democracy, Magna Carta.
I know, it's shocking, isn't it? Freer in Russia. But anyway, so what's predictable is that the next peak, which isn't going to be till the end of 2025, if it's consistent with the 4-year cycle, is going to be much, much higher. And certainly my astrologer says so.
I was going to ask you, what did she say?
She said it's all good. It's all good. It might be something to look into, Alex. I haven't sold you on this, right? It doesn't
No,
fit your algorithm.
no. I've been sold on Bitcoin.
Mhm.
I've been sold on Bitcoin back in 2015, 2016. But like I was looking at Bitcoin trading at $500, $65,000. Like where can it go? How much high? Because there's never been anything like this
No,
ever, ever.
there isn't.
So we're looking at something for which we have no precedence.
Yeah.
And one thing that I've learned in the market is that when a pattern in the markets becomes very obvious, it's not going to continue repeating itself because people are going to go like, oh, look at this happens and then that happens and this happens and then that happens. And then people are going to start positioning themselves for that event. And I think that maybe we've already seen this here because you see after the peaks in 2021 and 22, no,
Mhm.
2021, right?
Yep.
After those peaks, we didn't have that typical, 1 year, like first a sharp crash and then like slow drift lower, 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 lower. Because
No,
in,
this was
in
this
many
was
of those previous corrections,
yeah,
Bitcoin would lose like 80% or
yeah.
90%. We didn't see that here anymore.
No, we did, Alex. This was a year's downtrend from 69,000 to 15
Yeah,
and a
but
half.
it's not, like before it would go like first boom crash and then it would like gradually, you see what you have there?
Yeah, this was
Like it crashes
19,000,
and then
3,000.
it
Yeah.
drifts lower for a long time.
No, let's have a look. Let's have a look, right? So this is from here to the low. It looks like that December 2017 to a low in, I remember the low was in December 2018. So that's 1 year. This one, November 2021 to November 2022. It's still a year, and then it starts picking up because what Bitcoin has that gold and silver don't have is this hardwired halving of
Right.
new supply every 4 years. And then I think I haven't looked at this myself. So from here, December 2013 to, whoops, I'm drawing the line. I'm not a professional chartist, as you can tell, to a low there. Okay, December 2013 to January 2015. Just over a year. So it's still pretty much a year. And then a sort of slow crawl upwards. Something to look at. But what I appreciate about what you're saying, Alex, and you really spelt it out well in our first video about the service that you offer, which is the key to long-term success is slowly. And then I would say that where I've been successful in Bitcoin is because I have been slowly. I'm a hodler. I just hold the stuff, and every now and then shave off a little bit to pay for something.
That's amazing. That is amazing. And that I've written about that in my newsletters a number of times because, like you have these things like Bitcoin, like Tesla, like Nvidia, like if you bought Tesla in 2011
Mm.
and you held it until 2022, I think at some point, you would have made something like, I forget now, 270 times your money, or maybe 370 times your money, something crazy like that. And who does that? Who makes 370 times on their investments? Nobody, except for few people who buy it and then forget.
Yeah.
Like there was a famous case because professional money investors, and normal investors, they get very excited when they get a 10 bagger. Like when they buy something, it goes up 10 times. And then they are so excited, they sell. They're like, way, yeah, awesome profits. I'm done here. And nobody thinks in terms of what if it goes up 100 times or 200 times or 500 times.
Mm.
So the only people who make that kind of money are people who sit on these things and forget about them and never look. And there was a famous case in Finland, when Nokia went up. I don't know how much, but it went up a lot when it was the world global leader in cell phones, right?
Mhm.
Well, there was this there was this village of people in Finland where, some old lady bought shares in Nokia because at that time they were making rubber boots. And she thought, oh, her logic, her fundamentals analysis was people are always going to be needing rubber boots. So this company is going to do well. And so I'm going to put my savings into the shares of this company. She thought she was buying a reliable producer of rubber boots. And then she forgot about it. She never thought about it at all. And then at some point, it turned out that she was a mega millionaire all of a sudden. Okay. And then other ladies in that same village did the same. They were like, "Oh, no, that makes sense. We're going to buy these boots, boot producer." So that's like there's like a Finnish village of millionaires who were all people who put some money into Nokia, and then it just wasn't a thing. They were not looking at quarterly results every morning, every quarter, and in the annual balance sheets and income statements, and they didn't go to investor conferences to ask the directors and the CEO about the strategy for the next so many years and blah blah blah. None of this. They just like lived their lives, and then many years later they were like, oh, I guess we're millionaires.
That's extraordinary. That's really, really extraordinary.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Well, you want to say, so I do hive off a little bit every now and then to buy and sell stuff, but also to put into coins like Pepe. So I put $100 into Pepe, and then a couple of months later it was worth 1,000. And then I sold most of what I had and then bought back in again, right? But that's not what you provide. You provide a slow and steady, tried and tested.
Yes.
Trend following.
Exactly. And you see, this Pepe is also one of these examples where, up until this hockey stick moment where the curve goes vertical, you have something that looks more or less like a normal curve.
Yeah.
Where you could even say like, hey, I think that trend following would work here.
Okay.
And then it goes up like a rocket.
Yeah.
And see, at that point, any dumb strategy that goes long very early into that event is going to look like a winner.
Yeah.
And so that could be something as simple as I don't know, like a 12-day moving average. So you say like, okay, when the price crosses above the 12-day moving average, buy. That's a very dumb strategy, that I don't recommend it. But on these kind of price charts, that strategy would look great. And so it becomes very, very difficult for me to separate the wheat from the chaff,
Yeah. Okay. Then there's one last thing I want to mention, and this is not for trading or whatever. This is a project that I'm connected to. I'm actually one of the volunteer crew, right? And this is one of the great things about ignore the price chart, by the way. This was a pump and dump, I suspect, by a group of investors who bought into it. This is Pirate Chain.
Okay.
Here's the great thing about Pirate Chain. It's completely private. So if I send you money by Pirate, so it's a fully decentralized project.
Mm-hmm.
There's no foundation behind it, no company behind it. It's open source. It's a mine. You can mine it on a GPU. And it's completely private, unlike Bitcoin. So if I send you a certain amount of Pirate coin, nobody knows that I sent it to you, that it went from my wallet to your wallet. Nobody knows the time that it went. Nobody knows the date that it went. Nobody knows how much was sent except for you and I. So it's fully peer-to-peer. It's as private as cash.
Right.
But perfect for a digital world. So not for trading, but for freedom.
Yeah.
It's the antidote to CBDCs.
That looks interesting as well.
Yes.
Well, okay. So just so you don't feel like you've wasted your effort, this did kind of get my wheels spinning a little bit about these things and ideas.
Right. Well,
And I have to say, I do feel tempted.
Okay. Well, let me tell you about another cryptocurrency project that I'm also involved in that I hold. This is Sentinel.
Okay.
Open source. It's a decentralized VPN.
Yeah.
No single point of contact, so it can't be captured by the spy agencies. No risk of backdoors. you can set up a node from your laptop, and it encrypts the information that goes in and out of your computer. There's more and more people using it. So in countries where, I'm looking to see if I can find a map, in countries where there is, like in Russia, VPNs are banned. In Pakistan, you have to register your VPN. In other countries, VPNs are banned. This fights those sorts of bans because it's open source. There are some, it can be white labeled. There are some projects where you can get a free DVPN that runs on Android or iPhone for free. Decentralized virtual private networks. And you said in the beginning, you think blockchain is a great technology, right? Well, this is where blockchain comes into its own, where it gives us access to decentralized, censorship-resistant communication.
What kind of communication?
Well, running a decentralized VPN means I can access, like Russia Today is banned in the UK. I'm not allowed to look at Russia Today.
Yes, yes.
If you're in France, you can't look at Rumble. If you use a regular VPN, well, the governments can impose rules and say regular VPNs can't be used, or they can say to the regular VPN, you can't allow people to access these sites, or that we don't know if we have backdoors. A decentralized VPN, open source, and people can earn money from providing service to the network as well. And it's very, very cheap. So then people in France could use a decentralized VPN, Sentinel, to access Rumble, should they wish to do so.
Or they can move to Monaco.
But
Then they can access Sputnik, RT, and Rumble.
Alex, do you really want millions and millions of people moving to Monaco? Haven't you and I talked about this in some of our other videos?
Monaco couldn't physically accommodate that many people.
Yeah, it wouldn't take a lot to
But other than that, it depends. It depends who the people are.
Right.
If they're attractive women, then absolutely, yeah.
Fine, Alex. On that note, right, I'm going to have the link to your service, right? Trend following. What's the name of the website again?
iSystem Trend Following.
iSystem Trend Follower, right? And I recommend people go and watch the first video about your service and what it does, and also do check out monarchmoon.co.uk, that astrologer. I'll be doing more videos with that. All right, this is
fascinating.
And Crypto Alex signing out. All the best. Bye bye.
All the best. Bye bye. Take care.